The dead period looms, but Florida State is not done heavy lifting with junior days because this weekend, as the calendar turns from January to February, Florida State is bringing in a lot of 2026 and 2027 prospects. Joining me to speak about that is Michael Langston, senior recruiting analyst for Warchant.com. And Michael, we're going to start with one of the places that Florida State fans have been asking about a lot, and for good reason, the offensive line. Florida State is loading up on offensive line prospects this weekend on campus.
Yeah, no doubt. There's a ton coming in. Certainly, we added more, today on Friday. I guess the two headliners for me, when I look at it, is Sam Greer. He's out of the Midwest. He's a guy that Ohio State's kind of been a team people talk about, but it's going to visit FSU. That's a big visit for FSU. Certainly one of their top targets. Another Sam is Sam Rosenborough, out of Clearwater. That's one that Herb Hand has a previous connection with. There's a lot of contact there. That's the one I'm paying most attention to, because usually the ones that he has a previous connection with, that's the ones that we see movement and a lot of, certainly trickling. Also hosting several other 4 stars. Brick Kinsley, you certainly have Brandon Anderson, another 4 star. A guy I'm very familiar with is Janivary Carr. He's out of IMG Academy. He's one that they previously recruited pretty hard. That's one that I'm intrigued to see kind of what he has to say. And there's several others in there, but I think those are the kind of the main ones that I'm really locked in on. But certainly those two first ones, the two Sams, are the ones that really you're looking to see kind of some movement in pecking order of FSU moving up that pecking order, and even maybe being at the top for a few of those guys. So a lot of offensive lineman targets. I'll be honest, like I've been very impressed with what I'm seeing out of Herb Hand. His ability to get these guys on campus and the impact he's making with a lot of these recruitments. I think it kind of speaks to kind of what we'd heard about, his pedigree, which is really good at development, really good relationships. Certainly has no problem getting talent on campus, and he's certainly proving that, week by week. We had 3 straight junior days, and every junior day there's been top offensive linemen there every weekend.
Yeah, and we know that offensive line is a really hard thing. Like when it comes to the recruiting services, to project, because just kids grow at such different paces. But still, the blue chip idea is the one that you want to follow by and large. And
Yeah.
it's 5 4 stars. It's 3 more 3 stars that are on campus. And that's, again, on the offensive side. There are some other prospects that are going to be on the offensive side as well, Michael. But again, the trenches are what people are paying attention to because everybody's been burned last year. And so the edge position, edge rusher, defensive end, all of those terms are now interchangeable these days, but Florida State's hitting it hard in that regard as well this weekend.
Yeah, they are. There's a lot of talented edge guys. Jarius Rogers, who they've been very connected with, did commit to Syracuse, kind of surprised some people, but still is coming for this FSU visit a week after he just committed somewhere. So I think that speaks to kind of what I think personally with that one, Tom. If FSU pushes, that's a big deal. Have 2 really good 2027 guys coming in. Damon Guyton is one of them, and then David Jacobs is the one that I really love. I think he's going to be a future probably 5-star, when it all shakes down when he's a senior. So certainly some talented, edge prospects and ones that you can really make a early surge for, and we've seen a lot of that. There's a lot more 2027 guys that we see on this list, and I think a lot of that is this is your last chance to really, before you hit, kind of a small little dead period of, where you get a little break, and I think FSU wants to be, one of the lasting teams that are on these kids' minds, and I think those are certainly, I think 3 guys that I'm pretty locked in on. Just see how what kind of impact Terrence Knighton can make, and that's another one that I'm extremely impressed with of what he's done so far and the impact he's made in a lot of these recruitments. So I'm kind of curious to see just how that shakes out.
Well, I'll tease what's coming up next week because, we do have a lot more content coming next week, and Michael just was hinting at it. But before we do this weekend, you've got linebackers coming into town as well, 2 4-stars and a 3-star. Looks like a couple of 2026 kids in that group. And a couple of 2027 kids, actually 4 total. So they're still hitting it hard in the linebacker realm. I'm interested on this one again, Michael. I know I've asked you this before. John Papuchis is a holdover. Like he coached the defensive ends last year, specifically defensive ends, and
Yeah.
then special teams. He's now the linebackers coach. But it is this would a like an all
Yeah.
John Papuchis effort? Is this a Tony White in combination with John Papuchis effort? How is that striking you with how linebackers are being pursued?
Yeah, I think it's a combination thing, but a lot of people might not know this. With JP, his natural position has always been linebacker. That's his most natural position. That's where he wanted to coach, I think, when he first got to FSU. But that's the one he's natural with. He's very good at it, very good at knowing what to look for, the tendencies of different skills that he likes. I do think Tony White will be, certainly very involved in that because Tony's a former linebacker coach himself. So I think it's going to be a combination of those. But I think they certainly trust very highly of what JP is going to do at that position, and I think that's one that they certainly were very detailed of why he was a holdover and stuff, that he fits that kind of the mold of what they wanted outside linebacker. You have some talented guys coming in this weekend. Daquan Forkpaw, the one that I really like a lot. I think they're sitting in a pretty good spot there. I think Adam Borgini Alley is one that's been on campus several times. He's one of our late additions. He's also going to be there. And then probably the most highly profiled guy is 2027 linebacker Caden Henderson. I think the kid's going to be a 5-star when he's a senior by the time. So a lot of talented guys there, a lot to certainly work with. And that's another position that we've seen them consistently in these 3 weeks really bring in some really strong talent. If you look at almost 4 stars every weekend, top guys every weekend. So certainly we know JP can get him on campus, and we certainly know he can recruit really well. And I think they're certainly attracting the linebackers. This is I'm not used to this because we did not see this previously before where there's this many linebackers. It was always a complaint like, where are the linebackers? When are we going to get some linebackers? You might see one on there, but it's like every week you see 3 or 4 on there. So I think certainly that's a position that they're feeling like we got to do a lot better job as far as getting some top tier guys in here. And I do like how the linebacker room is shaping up, but I think they really have put an emphasis on this position for 2026.
That's a good point. In the 4 years at North Carolina leading up to the stop at Maryland before getting to Florida State, this is John Papuch's career. He was a linebackers coach for 2 years. He was defensive coordinator at North Carolina with what I'm assuming would be an emphasis on linebackers as the
Yeah.
DC, and then a special teams and inside linebackers coach at Maryland before being at Florida State. So very good point there, Michael. What's coming up next week here on the channel? You sent me a list of things to come, and this is fun because we're talking about two things: wrapping up the 2025 class, and then also the forever producing transfer portal. The window opens again in the spring. Talk to me about what we can expect to see on Warchant TV and those features, Michael.
Yeah, we're not dumb, guys. We know you want to hear about portal recruiting because that impacts you what you're doing right now. So we're not stupid. We get it. So yeah, we're gonna really focus on some positions that I think they could finish with, and we kind of just you're also playing it by ear where you see what happens in the spring of what FSU loses and then what they'll have to make up with that if they lose some guys and have some attrition. So, but I think the most part we'll really focus on the positions, kind of what we're looking at, and then one of my favorite features we're going to do is a top 5 of high school impact guys later that we'll do. You guys are going to enjoy this, and believe it or not, yes, high school recruiting. There are some immediate impact guys that I feel like certainly going to be a part of that 2025 season and success. So I think I'm looking forward to both of those features. Certainly the portal one excites you the most because that's kind of, man, that impacts the now, Tom. When you get guys that just can help you right away, these guys are guys you can insert in there. So we'll break it down. We probably won't know players all the way there. I'll chime in some nuggets there of guys I hear, but overall, it's mainly just a focus on what positions and why. Why do they need this? Why is this important? So we'll kind of break that down.
That's what will be coming next week. Yes, the portal. We understand it. Michael might change his business card to senior
Yeah,
portal analyst instead
telling you,
of
man.
senior recruiting analyst because people want to know about the portal. So we'll definitely hit that. But all of the information that you are hearing right now, and then inside information beyond that, the details leading up to decisions, the reasons why kids are on campus, what they say when they're on campus, the buzz around the program from junior day, all that appears on the premium recruiting board at warchant.com. So sign up today. It's just $1 for your first week. You will not regret signing up at warchant.com, the largest FSU fan community. And if you're already a subscriber and you've not upgraded to the Warchant Gold ad-free tier, we're giving you value back, my friends. You're getting $20 to Garnet and Gold just for making it happen, and also an extra 5% that rings up all the way to 15% on all Garnet and Gold purchases for the length of your subscription. It's not a one-time purchase. It's every time you spend at Garnet and Gold, you get an extra 5% off, just as a thank you to you for elevating your experience to Warchant Gold. Michael, we always appreciate the time, and we hope that you have a very ad-free experience as we get into the dead period here pretty soon. It's time to exhale, man. Not too far away now.